Dear audience, today is the 12th of April 2024 when I am recording this speech on a Bengali classic known in Bengali as Momener Jabanbandi, and its translated version with the title Confessions of a Believer. Confessions of a Believer is a translation by Leela Rai of Momener Jabanbandi, which was written by Mahbubul Alam in the mid-40s of the previous century. This book, an autobiography in nature, or to be more perfect, an autobiographical narrative, portrays the life of the protagonist, who comes from a liberal Muslim background of the early 20th century, where he speaks about his life and experiences from his childhood to his mature years. From this respect, this narrative can also be categorized as Bildungsroman novel, because the narrative shows the roadmap of a young child growing into his adult years. And as the narrative goes, it has certain qualities mainly oriented by the writer's bold and courageous and uncompromising approach towards discovering the truth of the things. Though, as I said, this writer, Mahbubul Alam, comes from a rather liberal Muslim background, but still then there were certain issues of fundamental nature which could have stopped the intellectual growth of the growing child. But surprisingly, we see that the writer has encountered all these prejudicial issues and received opinions with an open and free mind, so that his investigative processes that he employs here in his narrative to find out what is the truth from what is the false. We see that he has even questioned the very basic beliefs that we have taken for granted. For example, his inquiring mind is all the time trying to see the relationship between Allah, that is God, the Creator, and the individual soul. And it is informed by the writer's inquisitiveness to know how actually this relationship is to be defined or is to be located. As John Milton has famously written in his epical work Paradise Lost, that it was written in order to see the ways of God to man. Similarly, I feel that this writer here has also taken a similar approach to undertake a quest how he is related to this creation. Professor Mohammad Harunur Rashid, who was a former Director General of Bangla Academy and who was also a professor of English at Jahangirnagar University, and who has taken the initiative to publish this book from Bangla Academy, he has written a short introduction to this English version of Momener Jabanbandi, now titled as The Confessions of a Believer. And in this introduction, Harunur Rashid has said that the book is epical in nature, and epical not in terms of size, but epical in terms of the universal proportions that the issues treated in the novel have taken. So this is therefore in a way a Bengali epical work, a classic, a gem of literature that comes from the Muslim world of literature that was only making its presence felt during the beginning decades of the 20th century. And the power of the book lies in its precise and expressive manner. The articulation consists of sentences which are only about a few words to speak the truth. So the less said, the better. This is how Mahbubul Alam has written this novel or the narrative, and his precision has therefore charged his words with an insurmountable power by which the readers are at once drawn to what has been said in the narrative. Because of this power of the language combined with the thematic issues of profound nature and also the kind of clarity and precision of insight that Mahbubul Alam has deployed in his narrative is the reason why after the publication of the book it at once caught the attention of the elite societies of Kolkata, Dhaka and of course Chittagong. They praised the book for its insightfulness and also for its precision of telling, and at the same time they found out that Mahbubul Alam was a true representative of the liberal facet of Islam or Muslim literature that was only, as I said earlier, coming into being. And at that time, another coincidental happening must be mentioned here. At that time, in Chittagong, where Mahbubul Alam was living in, there was posted as the deputy magistrate one singular personality by the name Annada Shankar Rai, who was an ICS officer and was posted in the far distant remote corner known as Chittagong to officiate. And Annada Shankar Rai, in his own capacity, was already a renowned literature. So one thing leading to another, Annada Shankar Rai and Mahbubul Alam became very fast literary friends. And in one of his books, published later with the name Alap or Negotiations, Mahbubul Alam records the letters exchanged between him and Annada Shankar Rai, which also presents a fantastic reading. And what happened here is that Annada Shankar Rai's wife was an American white lady, and after marrying Annada Shankar Rai, she got attracted to the riches of Bengali literature. She did not only pick up the language well, both in spoken and written terms, but she paid her attention to translating major literary works from Bengal into English. This was a great international service that she really dedicated herself to, and in her choice of books that she would contemplate translating was Mahbubul Alam's book Momen Jabanbandi, which she took up for translation, and she did it only a couple of years after the original book was published. And therefore this translated version of this narrative into English was also a fearless and timeless contribution to the international horizon that Bengali literature could have extended to. And then we see that in this English version, Leela Rai, because of her natural competency with the language, almost could literally translate the Bengali book into English, presenting no hindrance to a reader who is a master of both the languages to understand that the closeness between the original and the translated language is so fulfilling, so redeeming, that we feel, those who know both English and Bangla, we feel that it was a very sincere and noble effort accomplished by Leela Rai. And then the book was published, that is, The Confessions of a Believer was published. Then it got, as things happen naturally, it got out of print. And for many decades, nobody really knew about anything of this translated work. Professor Harunur Rashid and Hasnain Sobi Nayak, they thought of approaching Bangla Academy, which is now administered by poet Muhammad Nurul Huda, who was gracious enough to consent to getting the book published by Bangla Academy. And this is the result today, that Bangla Academy in the year 2024 has done an excellent service to internationalizing Bengali literature by republishing The Confessions of a Believer by Leela Rai. And at the same time, while I am thanking Professor Harunur Rashid and Bangla Academy and Hasnain Sobi Nayak for jointly putting their efforts together to make this happen, I would like to thank also to have been of great service assisting the publication process of this book. So with this rather short introduction, I would like to expect that readers from all walks of life who want to read it in English, they would love to get a copy of this book. And with this, I would like to confirm that the success of this translation is what will be the most fulfilling thing for us from the family of Mahbubul Alam. Thank you very much.